In an attempt to make a specific joke, Paul gave opponent Tyron Woodley a £9,000 Rolex in an attempt to make a joke just days before knocking out the former UFC fighter in their highly anticipated rematch. Hello guys, good day and welcome back to Celebrity Overload. In today's video, we'll discuss Jake Paul's bribery of Tyron Woodley. So, let's get the ball rolling. 3 months after Paul defeated Woodley in a split decision in their cruiserweight bout, the two met again on Saturday night at the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida. YouTuber celebrity Paul won again, this time knocking out former UFC champion Woodley with a huge right hand in the 6th round, improving his professional record to 5-0-0. Paul took to Twitter just hours after the event. "Everyone I fought, I've KO'd," he wrote. Paul was in a good mood in the days leading up to the fight. In fact, when the pair met in an interview with host Ariel Helwani, the 24-year-old pulled out a gift for his opponent to express his gratitude for taking the fight on short notice. As seen in the Showtime sports video above, Paul tells Woodley that he should open it for the cameras and adds, "It's a good gift." Woodley did exactly that, and to his surprise, inside was a £9,000 Rolex watch. Helwani then inquires as to why he is gifting the watch to Woodley. "It's time for me to knock him out," Jake responds. Woodley accepts the gift and then adds, "And I accept all of the bonuses, and I'm going to do it again on Saturday. This guy is insane." When asked why he was accepting it, Woodley stated, "Why would I refuse it? I'm not going to be disrespectful because he tied a bow on it and wrapped it." Clearly, the pair respect each other, and after the fight on Saturday night, Jake praised his opponent, mentioning his decision to fight just days after Tommy Fury pulled out. "This guy is a legend, and I applaud him for taking the fight with only 2 weeks' notice," he said. "It was a difficult battle, my eyes were red with blood, I completed the task. Throughout the fights, I was setting up the punch. He had no idea what was going to happen. Timber, like a lumberjack. It has to be the most important moment of my life." Jake Paul has slammed claims that his knockout of Tyron Woodley was lucky, claiming that he orchestrated the entire sequence. After going 8 rounds with Woodley, "I've done it to every single person I've fought," Paul said on the Boxing with Chris Mannix podcast. "So it's not like I've knocked everyone out in a violent manner in some way. My strength is only growing, and after I set up the shot, you watch the entire sequence. I think I see his hand fly down, so I go to the body and then bring it up top with all my strength, bringing my hips through. Look at all of the people Tyron Woodley has been in there with, and he's never been KO'd like that." After a heated back and forth, Paul was set to face Tommy Fury, but the 22-year-old had to withdraw due to a broken rib and a bacterial chest infection. Dream opponents for the problem child include Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Conor McGregor, and Saul Canelo Alvarez. However, former world champion Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who has already claimed Paul's team has reached out and has been called out by the YouTuber, is the leading candidate for his next opponent. He won't be returning to the squared circle anytime soon, as he's scheduled to take a 7-month break from fighting. Instead, he'll be promoting the rumoured undisputed lightweight title fight between Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. Still, the 24-year-old is feuding with UFC president Dana White and recently posted a video of himself training for MMA. Whatever you want to say about Jake Paul, his random acts of kindness show that he truly does have a heart. Either that, or he's ridiculously wealthy. Actually, the second option is more likely. But that's beside the point, because Tyron Woodley wasn't the only one who received a brand new gleaming Rolex over the weekend. After KOing his opponent in their rematch, Paul decided to make a reporter's day, or even year, by randomly purchasing him a new 5-figure valued watch during his post-fight interview. Initially, the journalist inquired, "Is your signature going to give the next fighter a Rolex because you called your shot by saying it's time to knock Woodley out? Will you continue to do so with some of these fighters?" Jake responded quickly, clearly enjoying the question. He explained, "I feel obligated to compensate them for the anguish I've caused them. Yes, perhaps I have a few more tricks up my sleeve. I'm not sure if you want a Rolex or not. I might be able to get you one. Will you get his email if I get him a Rolex? What is your given name? You're going to look great with a Rolex on. Peter Blake. I'll get you the same one I got for Tyron." In a video posted by SportsCenter, other reporters can be heard listening in as they are taken aback by Paul's generous gesture. Woodley was as surprised as anyone else when he received a gift from Paul. As a token of respect, because it's time for me to knock him out, Paul explained as he unwrapped the Rolex box. In response, the former UFC champion said, "I gratefully accept your gift, and I accepted all of the bonuses, and I'll do the same things on Saturday." Jake Paul has escalated his feud with Dana White, threatening to retire from boxing unless the UFC president agrees to increase pay for his fighters, among other demands. Like and subscribe to the channel and comment "done" to get a free shout out. Since the YouTube star decided to compete in MMA against aged former UFC fighters White, 52, and Paul, 24, have had a tense relationship. The problem child knocked out Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley last year, and he's set to face either Nate Diaz or George Masvidal next year. White isn't interested in giving his contracted fighters a one-time fight with the 24-year-old, and he challenged Paul this week to agree to steroid testing for the next few years in exchange for being tested for cocaine for the next decade. And now, Paul has issued his own challenge to White, demanding that the UFC president pay his fighters more money, among other things. In exchange, he stated that he will join the UFC and fight Masvidal before retiring from boxing. At Dana White, "Hello and Happy New Year. Here's a real test for you," he tweeted. "If you agree, I will immediately retire from boxing and compete in the UFC against George Masvidal. 1. Increase the minimum fighter's pay from $12,000 to $50,000 per fight. 2. Ensure UFC fighters receive 50% of annual revenue, which was $1 billion in 2021. 3. Ensure that all fighters have long-term healthcare access. You previously stated that brain damage is part of the job." Imagine the NFL saying that. Many UFC fighters have publicly stated that they have brain damage. You have 5 days from March 31st, 2022 to accept and implement the foregoing. To compensate for my weak chin, I will immediately retire from boxing, join USADA, and sign a one-fight contract with the UFC. Now is the time for all UFC fighters to take a stand and create value for themselves and their peers. You are entitled to higher pay, better health, and most importantly, freedom. Help one another out. I am not your opponent, I'm your lawyer, and I want to KO a few of you so that I can make a lot of money. White quickly responded to Paul's statement, claiming that the post was not written by the 24-year-old and demanding that he start his own MMA promotion if he wants better fight pay. "You never responded to the challenge," he began on Twitter. "You've made it known that I use cocaine. I don't think so. So I told you that you could test me for cocaine at random for the next 10 years, because I believe you are a cheater who uses steroids. I intend to test you for steroids at random for the next 2 years. And no one on the planet believes you came up with that thing today. You're far too gullible, and for those who don't know, if you've ever seen one of his fights and witnessed the stare down, the guy in the middle with the warlock nose and the large wart on his face is apparently his manager. He used to work for me as an accountant, and let's just say he no longer does, and I think he's a scumbag. But if you think you can do it better than we can, we're wrong, and you're treating the fighters better than we do, strike out on your own. Start your own business. It's a simple process. Request that the Warlock work on it. The Warlock can get it started for you. What you and the Warlock should be concerned with is your business. You're descending. Pay-per-views are not for sale. You bring up George Masvidal because he is a pay-per-view star. World-class fighters including Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, and Mike Tyson. You're not. Pay-per-views are not for sale. So you go ahead and do whatever you want. I'm ready to go, buddy. I don't do cocaine. Do you make use of anabolic steroids? Alright, Jake, let's do it. That's all we've got time for today. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to our channel to watch more fantastic videos like this. Until next time, everyone.